Hello and welcome to the third PLoungeCast with one less member than usual, but I think we'll be fine anyways. So with us today we have Theta,
Hello.
and as the guest for today is Trixiepasta.
Hi, it's me.
And as the person who introduces us, we have me, Dragon __.
Yeah.
So today we are joined by the lovely Trixiepasta. Who are you, and what do you like to do, other than p-lounging, of course?
Other than P-Lounge, I like to watch movies, just kind of watch, I like cartoons, mostly just, not really anime, but just cartoons in general, but yeah, I got in, MLB, I don't even know when exactly, sometime between season 3 and season 4, season 4 and season 3 and season 4, before, season 4 was announced, but after Equestria Girls came out, and at first I had this weird idea that after I knew about Equestria Girls as I was watching through season 3, and I knew that there was something big that was going to happen at the end of season 3, but I didn't really know what, so, as I was watching, the last episode, I thought that, it was going to transition into Equestria Girls, and then that was where they were going to do it. I thought it was going to change the entire show or something, but it was just Twilight just got wings, and that's it, but,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, I started getting into, I started finding more fan-made content, and, I don't even really know when that started, but, I know. One of the first series, though, that I saw was the Rainbow Dash Presents series. Have you seen those?
I actually have not watched that.
Yeah, I definitely recommend them. They're the first, one of the first things that I saw. A lot of their other stuff is good as well. Like Mentally Advanced series. So,
Yeah, that's the thing. I actually haven't watched
kind of-
either.
Yeah. What kind of fan series have you seen, though? Which ones do you like?
Trying to think of any on top of my head, but
Friendship is Witchcraft?
Yeah, that's a good one, I guess. Yeah.
I actually haven't finished watching that. I think I finished episode 6.
You
And
still haven't
honestly,
watched
I
it?
don't find it, that funny. It's okay. But again, it's just voiceover for the show.
I know.
And I don't know. It's okay, but it's not as good as the internet says it is. But then again, the internet overhypes a lot of things.
E.g. Frozen.
Yeah,
for example.
I actually, I heard, there's some movies that I avoid, there's some movies that I avoid watching just because of the hype, and I actually did watch part of Frozen on in a live stream type thing, and I just I couldn't sit through, the first 5 minutes or 10 minutes or so. I don't know.
Yeah, because you expect that the main character is gonna start throwing up rainbows and shitting unicorns and whatnot because the internet says it's so great and it's gonna change everything.
Yeah.
It's not. It's a movie.
I don't
good,
like
but,
watching things specifically to feel emotions. If they can have emotions, woven into it, yeah, but I don't watch things because they're sad or because they're happy. It should just be a natural type of thing, not, telling you should be happy or you should be sad.
Yeah, the movie shouldn't force you to feel things. You should feel things yourself because the movie did a good job of, waking up those emotions, but they aren't forced.
Transporting the emotion.
Yeah. I can think of a good example, which is it's kind of old now. It's been it's been 2.5 years since Mass Effect 3 came out.
Jesus.
And
I've never played this, but yeah.
if I'd say that's probably my number one game series of all times. But again, Mass Effect 3, I remember playing through it, and some bits I actually cried because it wasn't super sad, but the attachment I had to those characters, it was something else. It was something else entirely. So I don't think it was intended to make you cry, but I did, and it's because the game did a good job of, building up those emotions and then, letting them out, or however you want to put it.
Another good example also is I Am Legend. The dog dies. And that was the saddest thing in the movie. Like,
Whoa, spoiler, man.
hasn't everyone watched it already? It's like so old.
I haven't watched it. I know.
I haven't watched it, but again, if it's like more than 2 years, or I don't know how long it's been out, but if it's more than 2 years, you just gotta suit yourself, because if you were really interested in it, you would have watched it by now.
Well, yeah, it's not really a spoiler. It's just someone dies.
Well, the dog dies, but you don't know anything else.
Yeah. Don't even know who the dog is. If a dog dies, you're gonna cry. Also, I Am Legend was released in 2007, apparently. That's pretty old.
Oh, well, yeah, if you were interested in it, you probably would have seen it by now.
I'll still put a spoiler warning, I guess.
Yes, Trixie?
Some movies, there are a lot of movies that, everyone kind of expects, people to have seen. Not everyone, just doesn't have the time or opportunity to do, with the Star Wars things or something like,
yeah.
One movie that, I hadn't seen for a while. I hadn't seen, for a long time before I actually watched it, which was a week or so ago, just 2 weeks ago, I think. Mine was, Groundhog Day. And I thought it was good. It was kind of an older movie, but it was good.
Yeah. Because again, it's like, I was blessed to have watched the Star Wars movies before I got onto the internet and they hyped everything. The Star Wars movies in my mind will always be some of the best movies ever, because I was so young when I watched them the first time. And rewatching some of it lately, it's like, it's an okay movie. It's good with interesting characters, but they don't... Again, the problem with movies a lot is that character development is a bit lacking compared to a video game, for example. Or a book, for that reason. Because there they get so much more time to, flesh out the characters.
I don't know about... with comparing video games, books, and movies, it all depends on, on how well it's done. They all, range. But one thing that I feel about movies, how they can be better than books in a way. In certain conditions. The thing with movies, especially with something like when I saw The Hunger Games 2, I actually think I enjoyed that one more than the actual book. Because it's supposed to be this fast-paced thing, and it's supposed to be really immersive and stuff, but in a book can sometimes be really not immersive, because you can just close the book at any time. You can read it whatever pace you want. In the middle of a fight scene, you can just close the book. But with a movie, they have it carefully timed. They have everything there's a set duration of the movie, and so they have it more, the emotions and everything are all set up so that it flows better.
Yeah, I can see your point. I haven't read any of the books. I've only seen the first movie, so I can't really, have an opinion in this case. But I can understand what you're saying, because, in a movie, you can take in a lot more quicker when it comes to action. And it's easier to see action than to, read, this guy punched this guy in the face, or see it on screen. It happens a lot faster, and, as you're saying, it's much more immersive.
Yeah. And there are also, a lot of different levels of details that they have to put in. In a book, it's all in writing. And you have to have, good writing and a good description. But then if you're making a movie, you need to have that, and it could just be a movie on its own. It doesn't have to be based on a book. You have to have good writing, but also so much other things, visual things as well. And then with the video game, you have to have, good writing, good visual effects, and then also, in addition to all of that, you also have to have, gameplay and all that stuff. And so it's difficult to, do different things, so.
Definitely. You're right. It's interesting to hear a bit on because all you hear is like the books are always better than the movies, blah blah blah. But you raise an interesting point to actually counteract that argument, which I think is good to get more perspective on everything. Speaking of movies, Guardians of the Galaxy came out this last Friday, and I heard that you've seen it.
Yeah, I've seen it. I went to see it on Saturday, which was not a good. I went to see it with my friend. I mean, because he was going to go see it anyway. And it wasn't very good. It wasn't a very good idea to watch it then because the movie theater was really crowded. We had to get like 2 seats that were almost on the very edge, on the very right edge, and almost in the front row. I know, but I mean, it wasn't all that bad, but still, But I mean, the movie itself, like I liked it. I mean, I walked out of the movie theater and I thought I really liked it, but for some reason the more I thought about it, there were things that I didn't really like about it. I don't know.
You wanna expand upon that?
I mean, the humor in it, it kind of seemed kind of all over the place. Like, it had a mix of things that were like, like stuff that seemed like it was for older audiences, but then it, went from something like that. I mean, I had swearing and stuff, but then then it went from that to something that you would expect in like a kids movie, or I mean, like, a movie for like a much younger audience or something. Like, I don't know.
But I think I understand what you're saying because I too have seen the movie. But couldn't you make the same argument for MLP in a way? Because I mean, some of it, like, it would go over the head of kids like easily, but a bit older people in the audience would get the joke.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just kind of weird to see that in like a big movie like that. I mean, like, where they have, I don't know. It was just, I mean, in MLP I can expect that kind of stuff, but I mean, it's just kind of weird seeing it like in, one of those big Marvel movies, which.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That makes that makes sense. I understand what you're saying, but yeah, again, I think the movie itself was okay.
Yeah.
The problem I had with it was I could, like, halfway through the movie, I could predict like 5 different things that would happen. Yeah,
there were parts of it that like I thought they were going to do something different, but then they just kind of went with a really formulaic thing. I know, and it had a similar kind of Marvel thing with like the like dangerous thing that'll destroy everything. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like the bad guy. There's another bad guy, but he disobeys the biggest bad guy.
Another thing, yeah. And like also another thing about the movie is that like they really like throw names around, like, I don't know, Xandor or like Drax or Gamora. Like, I mean, it's really confusing at times when I don't know, like it seems like a bunch of names that would just like it seems like names that are just made up. I don't know.
Yeah, I can understand that, but then again, it's sci-fi, so they can get away with like a lot of weird names because it's sci-fi, and they could say, oh well, this weird name is native to this weird race.
Yeah.
And
one of the complaints my friend had about the movie, I mean, like, was that like all the aliens looked completely humanoid, like they just looked like humans, just different colors. I know.
Yeah. That feels kind of lazy actually on their part, because the blue pirate guy, I don't even remember his name.
Yeah.
But he's the.
I mean, exactly. You don't remember. Yeah.
It's the same actor that plays some guy in Walking Dead, I know, but I don't remember the character name in The Walking Dead because I haven't watched everything. Anyway, going back, it was the blue guy. He was a human that was painted blue. I could not look past that. It's like, that's a human that is painted blue, even though he had this weird golden thing in his head.
Yeah.
I could not get immersed and say that's an alien.
I know.
And then it was the bad guy.
Yeah.
He had like some face paint and stuff and some badass armor, but again, it's a human that has put some paint on his face.
Yeah. And I mean, and with all that, it makes the things that aren't humanoids, like, they just kind of stick out, I mean, a lot more.
Yeah. But that's what they did good with Groot and Rocket. It's that, well, they're CG, as far as I'm concerned. and they were really believable.
Yeah, I have to say I didn't really like Groot much. I mean, like, I don't know, I don't know. It's something, I don't know. I just wasn't really interested in him at all.
I can see, yeah, I can agree with you. He was more like, he was a bad Chewbacca.
Yeah,
I felt like.
yeah, I know.
And again, that's like the charm with Chewbacca, I think, is that, well, he makes noises and you don't understand, but Han Solo understands because he knows Wookiee or whatever. But it's that we as an audience don't understand what Chewbacca is saying, but we as an audience understand what Groot is saying to some degree, because instead of making up noises, they just take some human words and they use them as his, like,
Yeah.
sounds that he make. And I feel it's kind of lazy on their part, again.
I mean, like, I liked, I mean, it had a really weird mix of humor, because, I mean, like, with Groot, they had kind of, like, this kind of, the silly kind of humor, or I don't know, that type of humor that, like, it seemed really focused towards, younger audience, like, younger children. I mean, like, say, oh, yeah, that's funny, haha. I mean, but with, I don't know, I felt like, I did like the, character that was, what was his name, Drax, I don't know,
Yeah.
at times, I mean, like, he had kind of, like, a more serious, or what's it called, like, I mean, kind of more, serious, but still, funny type.
Yeah, I think he was a better, like, dummy brute kind of guy, because Groot and Drax had the same role, kind of.
Actually, I kind of like Drax because he actually wasn't very much of, like, this dumb, like, he wasn't entirely dumb, it's just that, I mean, he didn't have the same kind of, I mean, he interacted weirdly, but I mean, like, with others, but, like, he wasn't really that dumb. I mean, he had, like, his own motivations, he had, like, a...
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that he could have fulfilled Groot's part as well. And therefore Groot just serves as, like, the partner of Rocket, which you could have filled with a much more interesting role instead of having the little smart technical guy and giant brutish not so smart guy. It feels like that pair has been done before. Sure, it works good as a pair. That's why so many movies do them, but it would have been more interesting to see something else. So, yeah, some other parts of the movie. I mean, it's the main character. I mean, he and again, like, characters took each other's place sometimes, because the main character was kind of like a Han Solo, but
Yeah.
he pretty much was a Han Solo.
Yeah.
But
I can see that
a bit,
comparison.
yeah, but he was, I can't think of too much of a difference, but he got more screen time than Han Solo. He was more of a main character. And he also had, like, the relationship with his mom and that. But again, it felt like Rocket and the main guy, they intertwined. They took each other's place from time to time.
Yeah. And I mean, like, with Rocket, the character, he was also kind of like Han Solo in a way as well. I mean,
Yeah.
In that, at the end, I mean, I mean,
Okay,
like, he
spoiler
starts
alert.
out, well, I mean, it's not really a spoiler thing, it's just a character progression thing where, like, he starts out as this kind of, mean, unsympathetic kind of guy, and he just kind of, doesn't care about other people, but then, of course, he ends up learning that, he should care about other people. I kind of like to see some movie where a character kind of just, I mean, there isn't, I'm not saying, like, characters should always be static or something, but I'd like to see a movie where, like, a character, like, stays true to, like, who they are. I don't know.
Yeah, I can understand that. Then I could make the counter argument that, well, in the end, spoiler alert, where they fly off and are like, let's do some good and some bad, yeah. It's like showing that, well, they're still criminals and stuff, but it feels like they're still a lot better than they were before, and I'm totally on board with you that can't we have, like, a character that doesn't progress super much from a few events happening in their lives. It would be interesting to see. But then again, it's a Marvel movie. It's like a big budget thing. They have to do the happy ending, everyone's okay thing, because otherwise the majority of the audience won't be as happy. And again, I think it's about pleasing the majority.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And, yeah, like one thing, like, I don't know, one character conflict type of thing that one thing that I have to say, I do prefer, like, I know more about, and I prefer DC, like, things than Marvel, and, just in general, and, partly just, I mean, this is just a thing I've talked with my friends about this before, but, like, the thing I like about DC is that it has a much more unified type of thing, in that, like, you know, under the whole Justice League thing, there's Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, Flash, all of them have their own comics, but then with, like, when you go to Marvel, like, there's Fantastic Four, they have the X-Men, they have the Avengers, the Guardians of the Galaxy,
Spider-Man. They have a lot of stuff.
Yeah, it's just really, and also within, and just in terms of, like, rights and stuff, like, different companies have different rights, so it's really confusing to make one thing,
Yeah.
And also, like, DC seems to be, like, while Marvel is making all these, like, big movies and stuff, and they keep doing, like, kind of like pretty much a regular, thing, and regular, quality things, as in, like, you can always expect the same kind of quality from them, like, DC has gone into more of, like, you know, DC usually sticks with, TV shows or cartoons and things like that, I mean, the movies that they've done, well, the Dark Knight series has been pretty good, but so far right now, it hasn't been doing so well with Man of Steel, I heard. But Man
of Steel. It was as a movie, and like as someone who isn't too much into comics or Superman and stuff like that, just as a movie, it was okay. I mean, I could say it was good for what it was. But then again, I'm super unbiased and didn't expect. I don't have this, like, this is how Superman should be.
Yeah.
This is what I expect from a Superman movie. I was just like, this is another movie, I'll watch it. Oh, it was a pretty good movie. I'm happy. But again, I can see why a lot of people would dislike it.
I know. One of the things I liked about one of my favorite, like, of all the DC things they have, I think one of my favorite things that they've had is the Justice League animated series. It's over now or whatever right now. It's been cancelled right now. Well, it was cancelled, then it came back as Justice League Unlimited for a while. Like, one of the things I like about it is that they have all the different characters in there, and they have conflicts, but there are some conflicts that just don't, like, they don't solve, well, they don't, like, you know, so like a conflict between Batman and Superman, they don't change who they are to solve the conflict. They find a way they just have to, like, work with the conflict. I mean, you know, which, like, and it seemed natural, because, I mean, like, in the Avengers, the movie itself, I don't know, like, it didn't really, like, it just seemed kind of like contrived conflict between them.
And then they were like, let's be happy together and fight the greater good and change to become better people. And it's done so many times that you expect it, and it's not really like a curveball or anything.
Yeah.
And I can agree with you. But moving on a bit from movies, Theta.
Oh, yeah?
I know you mentioned a controversial thing about JonTron. Care to evaluate or, like, expand on that?
Well, for the people who don't know, JonTron actually, like, tweeted something about PlayStation Now. Like, he said an ableist word, retarded, on it. So there's a lot of controversy over that. He did not apologize for tweeting that, though he has apologized for...
I can quote the tweet, which PlayStation Now is the most painfully retarded thing I've seen in a while. What the fuck, even?
Yeah.
Go on. That's.
Someone replied, "Dude, JonTron, don't say retarded. It's like offensive." He was like, "Sorry, forgot you were retarded." So there's a lot of controversy over that. He also like made a few tweet-longers.
I can skim over it, which basically he says, well, I don't respond to this kind of controversy things happening, but this has blown up and become way too big. People get offended all the time. Focus on things that are happening elsewhere in the world. For example, that a school was bombed in Israel and 10 people were killed. It's like, focus on that instead of focusing on me saying that something's retarded.
I mean, like,
like,
if it's some sort of, like, if it's a type of thing where it's the thing where they, where it's something that they say casually or something, or like something they just, do all the time. I mean, like, if they just keep on throwing the words retarded and stuff like that around, I mean, like, and then I can understand why there would be controversy, because, because then it shows that, but, like, still, just like, just kind of like one thing, like, I don't know, I can agree that does seem to be blown up.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And, Theta, what's your take on this?
Honestly, I'm not on JonTron's side, because he didn't apologize for saying it, as it is a very offensive word, IMO. So I'm on the side of the guy who was like, dude, don't say that.
And I'm actually gonna take your side, Theta, in this, because his counter-argument makes sense. It's like, well, there's a lot worse things happening than someone saying a word on Twitter. Yes, but the things happening in, for example, Israel and, like, the bombings, we can't affect that in any way, shape, or form, at least most of us. But we can affect JonTron not to say offensive things on Twitter, even if they're meant as a joke.
Yeah.
Like, I have to agree as well. That I'm not on JonTron's side. I like JonTron, I guess, in general. But I mean, like, in this situation, he's not really in the right, I guess.
Yeah, sometimes you just gotta say, I messed up, man. But since he doesn't do that, he's kind of in the wrong, which is a shame, because I know that JonTron is a funny person, and of course some days, like, it's just too much, or you have a bad day and you get, like, angry, or just, like, your social, like, barriers, they go away.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that can happen, but if you don't apologize the day after, I'd agree with you guys. He's in the wrong.
Yeah.
So, anyone else done anything fun this week?
Yeah.
I did do one thing. I went to, like, this thing called a Brick Fair the other day, on Sunday.
Okay.
It's like this big kind of like Lego thing, and they have like this, it's kind of like a Lego convention thing where they have like some like huge, just kind of like models and stuff, and things like that. It's like any sort of other convention, except just kind of minus the cosplay, but more models. Like,
okay.
I don't know.
Interesting. So, what did you do there?
I went around. I took a lot of pictures and stuff. There was a lot to see there. Different machines and stuff that people made.
Sounds cool. Anything you might post up as a Imgur album and maybe put on the Lounge?
Maybe. Yeah, I think I still haven't really looked through the pictures again yet, but I might do that. Yeah.
Yeah, sounds cool.
Yeah.
I don't know. One random thought that I had was that like, I was thinking that, like, maybe some people think that the pyramids and stuff were made by aliens just because they don't want to accept or don't want to acknowledge, like, the amount of, like, slave labor that is used in that.
Interesting. We can touch on this topic.
Yeah.
We have some more time. Who are these people that you're referring to?
I mean, like, you see, like, on History Channel, like, ancient aliens, stuff like that. Like, some people, like, I can imagine, want to think that, the pyramids were made by aliens because, they want to think that, there are other things out there. But then I feel like some people just want to believe that because they don't really want to, accept that. They don't want to really think about how it would have been made otherwise.
Yeah, because people, like, dodge from reality because it's so horrible. Like, they don't want to see.
And since it's such a long time ago, it can be believable for some. I mean, with something like the Holocaust, that's harder to disbelieve.
Look away from.
Yeah, it's harder to disbelieve because, not only was it, fairly recent. I don't know, but also there's so much proof of it. But like with the pyramids, like for some reason, proof is difficult for some people to accept. I don't know.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's an interesting thought, and yeah, aliens. It's easier to fall asleep at night by saying, "Well, the aliens made them," than thinking, thousands of people died, like against their will, working to make those structures. And that's a horrible thing, and you'd rather not have to think of it that way. If I got the choice to subconscious so that I always believed in one thing, I'd take the easy way out, probably. I don't know because I haven't gotten the choice, because I acknowledge that the slavery happened, but if you got the choice, well, I'll just believe that it was aliens. It's a lot easier on your consciousness as well.
I'm just mentioning, like, in the future, like, in the far future, something people will look back and, there are a lot of things, happening now that we seem pretty clear about, but, like, in the future, I'm sure some people will, look at something happening now and think that, did that really happen, or is that something different? I don't know.
Yeah. Maybe the numbers will get changed around. No, like, the Nazis didn't kill 6 million, they killed, 4 million, or something along those lines. Or no, they killed 10 million, yada yada. And then we'll be controversial over that. But the difference, I think, is that now we store so much information that it doesn't get lost in translation or lost in some stone tablets in an ancient tomb. It's like we have it at our disposal, and this data won't just go away. It'll constantly be here, and it will be updated as time goes on. And I think but I can't say for sure. Maybe we'll get all the current databases will get outdated, and then everything will be transferred, etc.
Yeah.
So again, who knows?
Yeah. Who knows what the future can bring?
This has been yeah.
Who knows?
What we'll
the
see.
Can bring.
And maybe we'll that too. And we'll hope that we contribute to that wonderful future, if it's a wonderful future.
Yeah, probably won't.
This has been the This has been the 5 last philosophy minutes with the P Lounge. And any last things you wanna plug? Tell people to go look at a link, maybe, Trixie.
I don't know. Not really. One thing I just one thing that I do on the Plunge is that I've been trying to get it scheduled right, but I'm doing Tuesday and Thursday writing prompts on the Plunge. I don't know if anyone's interested in that.
Yeah.
I just
I've seen a few
we can
clips of
link to. We can link to the latest one you put up.
I haven't put it up
so
yet,
so people
but
can see it.
I'll put it up after
it'll
this,
probably
yes.
be up by the time we put this up.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
people can go look at that, and they totally should, because it sounds awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got some good people. We got some good writing in there. So.
Theta, anything you feel like plugging this time?
Not necessarily. I haven't talked much in this, but so I don't have anything to plug.
Sorry.
No worries.
Well, you could plug something that we haven't talked about.
I don't know. I don't really have anything to plug either.
Okay. Well, that's been that. Trixie, I want to thank you for joining us. It's been nice having you.
Yeah, it's been nice being on here.
Yeah.
Nice. So I want to thank for us, and bye.
Bye.
Okay, bye.
Welcome.